and not look like. We do know that Michael Penix Jr. Will be the starting quarterback next season, barring an injury. I mean, last season, this was a team in Atlanta that you signed Kirk Cousins to that big deal, $40 million annually. You're one of the favorites to win the NFC South.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden, Cousins falls apart midseason. You once again finish under 500. And I feel like obviously that collapse from Cousins and kind of that like 2/3 mark of the season was what derailed the success of this team. What even happened to Kirk Cousins, who was seemingly playing great football to begin the year?
He got hit in week 10 against the Saints, and he injured his elbow and his shoulder, and they were very coy about the injury for the entire season. And he was on the injury report one time in week 11, the first day of week 11, the Wednesday of week 11, and he explained it away. I actually asked him about it after the Denver Broncos game, where the Falcons got crushed in that game at Denver, and Cousins played not well at all for the second straight game. And I asked him about the injury report, and he said he was 100% healthy. Turns out he was not being 100% honest when he said that. He spoke about this back in February on the NFL Network. He admitted that he got hit in that game, hurt his shoulder and his elbow, and he was not the same since after that. He was affected for the entire rest of the season. And the Falcons, as you mentioned, Chase, they went on a 4-game losing streak, pretty much coinciding with that hit in the Saints game. They lost 4 in a row, and that knocked them basically not out of playoff contention. They still had a chance to win at the end, but they were 6-3. They were riding high. Things were looking good. They were 4-0 in the division, and then all of a sudden, Cousins, I guess, gets hurt, and they're just not the same without him at full strength. And they end up going 8-9, missing the playoffs. Haven't had a winning season now since 2017, and a real source of frustration for Falcons fans because if Cousins was truly hurt, as it seems like he was, could the team have put in Michael Penix Jr. in his place? Could they have benched him? Because I mean, Chase, he had 8 interceptions in 4 games, no touchdown passes. I mean, that's a red flag if there ever was one.
I think the interesting part though is, okay, you're saying that he had this injury issue and obviously he would probably recover by this time. If this is true, why isn't a team going after him at this point? Like, is there a team that would say, look, before this injury, we saw what Kirk Cousins was doing. It was at a borderline elite level. It was at a level that was great in Minnesota, and one that got him over 150 million in Atlanta. So why do you not think a team is really pursuing him so greatly if his disappointments last season came from the injury?
A few reasons. One being that the price tag, right? He is owed $27.5 million in guaranteed money in 2025. And the Falcons are not willing to trade Kirk Cousins unless a team takes on at least a chunk of that salary. And that has been a hang up, right? Not every team wants to do that. Not every team wants to take a risk on, a 37-year-old quarterback who comes with that kind of a price tag, right? And then the other issue is that Cousins has a no trade clause. So if a team would be interested, he would have to clear the deal. And he's just not going to take any kind of a deal unless he's the starting quarterback. And right now, since the draft, there really aren't any teams out there. Since Aaron Rodgers signed with Pittsburgh, there are really no teams out there that don't have a starting quarterback. Everyone is pretty much settled, right, at this point. Now, things could change, of course, right? Injuries happen. It's the NFL. These are inevitable. So I think that once training camp starts, the season starts, there could be potential landing spots for Kirk Cousins, and I'm sure the Falcons would, be on the phone listening to those offers if they come about.
So obviously, when Cousins was benched, Michael Penix Jr. started the final few games. He'll once again be the starter in Atlanta, as we mentioned earlier. So you're mentioning how maybe some of these teams won't want to go after, Cousins given the contract, also how things could change. How do you see this whole situation playing out? Because to me, as it looks like right now, it looks like that Cousins is just going to be sticking around and possibly just being there for the ride in case Penix disappoints.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where in a perfect scenario, if you're Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons, you probably don't want him looking over his shoulder at Kirk Cousins, right? But if he starts to struggle, that could become a distraction. That could be something that the media starts talking about. Fans start calling maybe for Cousins to start games. If Penix struggles out of the gate, he is still kind of a rookie, right? He started 3 games last year, but he's like a rookie 0.5, like a rookie and a half, so to speak. So it is a weird situation, certainly. From the Falcons' perspective, they see it as, well, hey, if something happens to Michael Penix Jr., if he gets injured, which, by the way, he did several times in college, right? He had 4 season-ending injuries in college. they have a really, really good insurance policy in Kirk Cousins, right? He's a plus level NFL quarterback on their bench right now. So they're seeing it as that. And then again, if someone goes down during the season, they'll certainly listen to offers for Cousins. But I don't think they mind having him as the backup because, he's still a guy that people respect in the locker room. He's a veteran voice in the locker room. He's not going to really cause any kind of, him personally is not going to cause any kind of, distraction from Penix,
Right.
on the field. And again, if Penix gets hurt, you slide Kirk in there, and you're still probably a playoff team if he's right.